Try and raise a sea beast, he said. Yuffie chuckled at her arrogance. She was a powerful necromancer, one who knew the ins and outs of raising anything from the dead, but she had never encountered something like this. She looked out at the sea, the waves rolling in, and wondered how she might get out of her current situation. The night was coming in, thick with its suffocating darkness. She looked down again, pushed back her tears and tried to find her courage. The sand tightened its grip, sucking her down even further. It knew what she was going to try, and it wasn't going to let her. It had waited far too long for this feast, waited ages to taste sweet, warm, pulsing blood, and it was very hungry. Yuffie felt the grains of white sand invading her mouth, her throat and her lungs. Her eyes took one last glance at the sea, the sky, and the world she loved to live in. This wasn't going to be her death today. She cast her spell, and a second later, the sand blasted her out, vomiting Yuffie skyward. She tumbled and fell. She rolled down to the water's edge. She lay there for a moment, looking around. She felt the sand moving underneath her, trying to find its lost meal. She hurried to her feet as a large wave crashed behind her. She rushed up the beach as sand tentacles tore free from the sand, with large mouths on the end of them. They snapped and grabbed at her feet, and she saw Wayne standing at the edge of the beach. He was smiling. He was the cause of all this. Why hadn't he told her about the killer sand? It dawned on her. She was meant to be its victim, a sacrifice. She could feel the tentacles behind her closing in as she neared the line of palm trees. If she timed it right, she would be able to survive this. She rushed towards Dwayne, whose look of happiness suddenly turned to fear in a moment's notice. She ran past him, and as he turned to watch her go, he felt the tentacles attach themselves to his body. Their sand teeth dug into his flesh like piercing needles. A second later, they pulled him backwards and into the sand. Dwayne took one last gasp of breath, one last look at the world at large as sand filled his eyes and mouth. The sand squirmed and wiggled its way down his throat, eating and loving his insides with glee. A few minutes later, Dwayne now consumed, the sand burped a satisfied burp. She quickly conjured up a spell and waited for the dead sea beast to arrive. The sand had consumed its last meal.